Feature. We're catching up with head coach Derek King today on IceHogs Media Day, just before the Hogs get ready for a 3-game mini-series against the Grand Rapids Griffins. Coach, before we take a look at the week ahead, kind of want to reflect back on your weekend in Iowa, probably one of the more, dare I say, physical series we've seen against the IceHogs, against any opponent this year, but against Iowa in a back-to-back showdown. What was your takeaway, considering your team doesn't see a whole lot of physical games like that this season?
Yeah, I think I liked how we had some pushback. We didn't back down from the team. They're a good hockey team. They play hard, physical team. I think any coach coaching a team like that's got to be happy with the way they play a physical game. But I like the fact that we didn't back down from them. We pushed back. Obviously, with the physical part, the fight, obviously that's always going to happen when two teams butt heads for a couple games. But overall, I liked our performance.
Was there anyone that jumped out to you? There were a lot of players that grabbed first in that one. Evan Barrett got into a scrap. Mitch Foster, Chris Wilkie, of course, in that Friday showdown too. There were a lot of guys that don't normally engage in stuff like that, or at least so far we've seen. But it seemed like they had to jump right in there and be a part of the mix.
Yeah, and I like the Fozzie kind of in and out of the lineup here recently, and then he gets in and then plays a solid game and then sticks up for a teammate, and I think. Barrett, the guy jumps him from behind kind of thing, but he stood his ground. He didn't just turtle it up. He faced it and went right back at the guy. So I think it's great. The Wilkie thing is a little, that's a weird play. That's a hockey play, which, I think on both sides, hopefully nobody got seriously hurt. I'm not sure how the goalie's doing, but it's an innocent hockey play. So overall, I looking at my board here, I liked everybody's game, the 2 games. They battled hard and they stuck to the program.
It had to be a nice moment for you as a coach. You've been talking about having a high compete level, regardless of the outcome, regardless of who's in the lineup. I think that game on Saturday really showed that to a T, that level that you've been talking about all season long. So I'm sure that was a nice badge of honor for you to wear going back into the.
You always think you have a little bit of part in the game as a coach, but it's those guys. They're dialed in. I think we're finally a team. You could see it on the ice, especially those 2 games were a big test for us, what kind of team we are. And I liked how we stuck together and everybody had everybody's back and we supported each other. So hats off to the guys for coming together like that and playing hard 2 games.
Dylan McLaughlin with 3 points, but DJ Budsdecker with 2 goals. He's now got 4 points over his last 3 games. You mentioned last week that he's really a player that's opened up your eyes a lot coming into the IceHogs on an AHL contract. He seems to continue to wow at least everybody in the press box. What do you see from him as we make down the backstretch of the season?
Yeah, he just works hard. He does everything right, and it's funny. He starts the year in Indy, goes and plays some games until we get sorted here, and then he comes in here and he's a full-timer. It's hard to take his job away from him. It's hard to sit him out. We need him in the lineup. The guys love him. He brings a lot of energy. He can play either defense, offense. He can play D. He can play center. He's kind of that utility guy that every team needs, and we're happy to have him.
And now looking ahead, Coach, before I turn it all over to everybody else, you got Grand Rapids 3 in a row starting tomorrow night in Grand Rapids and Saturday back at home at the BMO in front of fans. And then on Monday at Grand Rapids again. I know you have a lot of pride for yourself going against that team, being a former team of your own, but now another mini playoff series on tap, and it actually wraps up your season series. What are you looking forward to in this
We got to approach it like we did in Iowa. We went there and played 2 hard physical games and we competed. That's all I ask for these guys, to compete, play hard. And if we do that, I like our chances.
Jay Taft, your line is active, sir.
Coach, well, congratulations for getting some fans back in. What does that mean? And do the guys, are they even talking about that in the locker room? Is that a big deal?
No, they haven't. I know there's, maybe some family or whoever else can come, but no, I think they're just focusing on playing the game and playing this little series against Grand Rapids. I think it'll be nice for the fans if we get some fans in there a little bit, as many as we can, but I don't need to hear anybody yelling at me. That's for sure. So I kind of like the cardboard cutouts. They're quiet and they just kind of watch. But no, I think it's good. Grand Rapids will have fans. Iowa had some fans. You could hear just the atmosphere is a little different.
And do you have like a list to check off for some big goals? I think there's 8 games to go here. Do you really look at this kind of backstretch and gauge it differently than you have, the other chunks of the season at all?
Yeah, that's a good question there. It's 8 games left. The biggest thing here, I think the Iowa weekend really showed me how far we've come as a team. I just want to continue that play, the way we played, the way we stuck together these 8 games, whether you're in the lineup or you're not. My biggest challenge here, I want to try to get everybody in the lineup that's maybe hasn't played in a few games back in, get them a couple games out of these 8. And, there's nothing worse than watching guys just sit there. And as a player, there's nothing worse than being a healthy scratch for, over 3, 4, 5 games. It starts to creep in. But biggest thing here is just get everybody playing and get everybody, on the same program, competing like we did in Iowa.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
Scott Leber, your line is active, sir.
Hi, Coach. Along those lines, in the month of May, you have 7 games in 15 days. How much of a challenge is it? And are you thrilled with that setup because you can play so many of those guys who've been sitting?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think we've practiced enough. I think they're sick of hearing my battery-operated whistle. I think it's time to just let these kids play and finish it strong here. And it's an opportunity to get a bunch of games in a row here where we can get bodies in and out and give guys opportunities.
Jisovich made a nice impact right away. Obviously did great things at the college level, winning the NCAA championship. How ready, in your opinion, was he for this transition from the college game to AHL level hockey?
Well, it's funny because you see some video from our scouting department gives you a little pre-scout on the player, and we watched some tape. And I did it with Slavin too. You watch him how he was in college, and you always hope, well, hopefully when he gets to this level, he can continue to play like he did in college. Slavs did a great job. Didn't miss a beat. I think he picked up the pace of the game pretty quick. And then Giz comes in and does the same thing. He's a big, strong body. He's a good two-way player, centerman. And I think the pace of the game, I talked to him, he said he adjusted pretty quick. And I think he's, the big thing here, I think with these guys all coming back next year, we got a head start on what we have. And then they realize what they need to do to get to the next level.
Has Nalimov showed you enough in goal for him to get the majority of the playing time from here on out? Or are you going to split that pretty?
No,
evenly?
we'll just they both have earned a spot to play games, so we're just going to rotate them around. So Callie will play next game, and then the next game after that, Nally will play, and we'll just keep rotating them like that. They both earned it. They both worked hard. There's no reason just to ride one goalie.
One last question for you. Getting back to Buzdecker, you mentioned that you used the utility label for him. He's a utility guy. Is that a positive or a negative for a guy to have a young guy like that to have that kind of a label?
I think it's a positive. And there's not too many guys coming out of junior or college that you can play in any position. And he's effective in any position. He's a good centerman. He can play both left and right wings. I use him on the PK. He can play power play. He can play top 6, bottom 6. It doesn't matter. He's going to work. He's going to work as hard as he can every shift. And the nice thing about it is if we do lose a D or a couple D during games, we can put him back on the point. I've watched enough hockey with him when he was in Saginaw, and I've watched him play the D, the defensive position, and he did a great job for them there. So I think it's great for him. Sometimes a team's looking for left wingers. You're a right shot, but the team knows you can play the left wing, then that's good for him.
Thank you.
Randy Kane, your line is active, sir.
Hey, Derek. What have you seen from Teply these past couple of weeks?
I think he's made some strides. I think, the start of the year, it's tough. He's a young kid. And he's away from home, even though he was away from home playing junior, but this is a little different demon, the language thing, just everything. It's like a shock. I think having a couple other Czechs in our lineup help. And I think he's just matured where, he's learning how to play the game when he doesn't have the puck. That's the big thing. When he has the puck, he does a lot of nice things out there. It's the biggest thing is when he doesn't have it. And I think he's really improved in that category.
What kind of drills do you guys do when you have those skill sessions that help with being able to play better without the puck?
Well, our skill sessions are all just skating, a lot of skating, edge work, stick handling, shooting and that. But our practices is where we're going to get it, the 5-on-5 competition. When you don't have the puck, where should you be? Right position. If you have to back check, when you enter in the D zone, where do you have to be? Those are the drills that are helping him sort out and learn how to work without the puck.
And it looks like Cole Moberg has been playing a little bit more, looked a little bit more comfortable on the back end. What have you seen from him lately?
I think the big thing, and whether it's him or Phillips and Krudel, like these guys are all, big kids that can skate. I think the biggest thing with Mo is he's starting to realize that he can skate the puck out of his hand instead of have to always hard off the glass or look for the perfect play. He's using his feet more. He's a real good, powerful skater. So I like where his game's going. And like everybody else here, they've matured, they've improved, and we've already got a head start coming into next year.
And then with Buzz Decker, he's a guy on an AHL contract. Is he someone that you talk to about like, hey, this is what you need to do to pursue things in your game to get better to, get an NHL contract, whether it's with the Blackhawks or another team?
Yeah, we talk, but with Buzzy and I think a lot of other guys, it's not as much the X and O's. It's more the consistency, game in, game out, being consistent in your game. And he's done a great job with that. You're going to have ups and downs. You're going to have shifts that don't work out, but it's what you do the next shift. With Buzzy, I think he understands that, not to get down if he has a bad shift, that he goes right back out and gets another chance to correct it. And he's done a real good job with that. There's no reason why, I think it's a 2-year deal. Maybe he's got an American League level. He can't switch that into an NHL contract, whether it's with the Hawks or with anybody else. There's always people watching.
Thanks, Derek.
Yep.